Welcome to the Lynne Show. I'm Lynne, that's Lynne with an E. I'm excited for today's show. We have two guests, Tom Glaser, the author of the book Full Heart Living, and Annie Meehan, author of 3 books and a professional, motivational, and inspirational speaker. Both guests will give us ideas to help us have a great new year. And how about trying something new? Star fruit? Ever try it? I'm sure you've seen it at the grocery store and wondered like me, how do you eat that? Well, today we will learn how to prepare it, and if we have time, we will learn how to tie a scarf that will keep you warm and cozy. Let's meet our first guest. Hi, Tom.
Hi,
Welcome
Lynne.
to the Lynne Show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We're going to talk about a couple of good things. I want to tell you that I remember when we met. It was on the set of Music Man.
Yes, we did the Music Man together.
I know
a
it.
long time ago.
And that was with the Rosetown Players, right
Rosetown
here,
Players.
our Roseville Theater Group.
That's right.
What year was that?
You know, I was trying to remember that. Maybe it was at least 7 years ago, Lynn.
Right, okay. So should we just call it like 2010?
Let's say 2010. Yeah,
We'll check
that sounds
into
like a
that.
safe bet.
And that was such a great play. I mean, we got to do a little song, a little
A
dance.
little bit of everything. It was a good
Yeah.
time. And
then
we made
after-
good friends.
We made good friends
Yeah.
who still get together.
Yes.
How great is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
With a little song and dance.
That's what really matters.
It does. So also, we kind of then re-met at the Actors Workout, which is the class that we both take at the Guthrie.
That's right.
Yeah.
A couple years later, we ended up in the same acting class.
I know,
How
so
about
fun.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, the reason I wanted to have you is
Yeah.
because in 2016 was a really big year for you.
Yeah, you got
You
that right.
published a book.
Yes, get that.
All right.
I know,
so
here
tell
it
us.
is. This is Full Heart Living, Conversations with the Happiest People I Know. And this is my labor of love. I started writing this soon after we first met, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
right, absolutely. And it's conversation or interview based. I interviewed 9 of the happiest people I personally know. And I took their words of wisdom and sat with them over months, really, and came up with the wisdom of what they were telling me. Initially, I thought each chapter might be based on a person, so I'd have 9
Yeah.
chapters. But I realized as I sat with their words that there were these common themes
Okay.
that they were saying. Things like expressing gratitude, like celebrating simple joys, like cultivating mindfulness. So really being in the present moment. These are some of the seeds.
And so it became your project, but a lot earlier than I thought. So you're saying
Yes.
you really have been working on this for quite a
Yes.
while.
Yeah, what happened is, and perhaps ironically or sadly, through grief, through the unhappiest period of my own adult life is the
Okay.
truth. I had my dream job, Lynn. I
Yeah.
loved my job. I planned to retire there. I put my heart and soul into this job. And as happens, you know, nothing's permanent in this life. Things changed. And I no longer had my dream job. My whole life changed because like my identity was in this job, right? So in the midst of this great grief, I started noticing that all around me were really happy people, actually. From the woman in the office next door to mine, to my hairstylist, to a cast member in a different show that I was in. Really shiny, happy people. And I got really curious, what are they doing
Right.
that I don't do, or that other people maybe don't do?
Okay.
And I got brave, and I started asking questions.
Oh,
And it just snowballed into these interviews that I was
Yeah.
mentioning, formal interviews on camera. So I videotaped them. And it's all
There
here.
it is.
It's all here in the book.
so one of my favorite starts of a chapter is chapter 3, the coffee table syndrome. Would you just read us that little bit? I love it.
I love that you love this. That's great. That's awesome.
Well,
I'd
it's
love to read it.
It's easy reading. It made me laugh out loud.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's awesome. So sure. Yeah, I'll just read a little bit.
Yeah, just read that
Yeah.
little start.
So this chapter is called Finding Your Happiness Set Point, the Coffee Table Syndrome. I met Kanisha at a professional training conference almost 25 years ago, but her story about happiness has stayed with me. On a coffee break during that first workshop, Kanisha told me how she once had been convinced that she would be truly happy when she obtained the one item missing from her downtown St. Paul apartment, a leather couch. After saving for months, Kanisha, with great joy, finally ordered her coveted sofa. When a large truck pulled up outside her apartment, she could barely keep herself from jumping up and down. Her long-awaited brown leather couch at last had arrived. She gave the delivery man specific instructions as to where to place the couch so that it would be just so. A hand's width from the wall, facing the TV, centered under the living room window, always highly expressive, Kanisha demonstrated with sweeping staccato hand motions. During those first few days, Kanisha said she found herself glorying in fondness for and appreciation of her new acquisition. She could hardly wait to get home from work each night so she could sprawl across her new comfy prize. It was just what she'd wanted and worked so hard for. Yeah, she told me, her head shaking slightly, that happiness lasted maybe a week until I realized I didn't have the right coffee table.
I love it. And that's how easy the whole book is.
Oh, thanks.
And with the projects that you have us do, I loved it.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Yeah, there's workbook sections at the end of each chapter. I do a summary at the end of each chapter, and then workbook-like sections. So fill in the blank. Really simple things.
Right.
How can you practice these concepts in your life right now?
And you have, like, was it some key points or some discoveries that you made that you want to share with us?
Absolutely. Yes. And this is one of the main questions I always get, of course. What did you learn? What are the main things that you learned? And I realized there are 3 things. And I was kind of doing some foreshadowing earlier when we were talking about the Music Man. How the main thing and the most important thing to me that came out of that is this friendship group that still meets all these years later.
Right.
That's the number one thing that happier people do. They have great relationships. They make the most of their relationships, and it doesn't have to be a spouse or
so
partner.
That's one. Yeah.
Yes. Number 2 is connections with the self. So knowing who I am and being mindful, not missing the present moment.
Right.
The 3rd is connections with passions, and you're a great example of this, Lynne.
No.
You have great passions, and you pursue them with great energy. Happier people do a lot of this. They do things they love. When they do them, they meet people, they're connecting with themselves, particularly if these activities are in the service of other people. That's kind of the holy grail. When we're giving back to others, that's when we gain the most happiness ourselves.
I love it. So, number 1?
Connecting with other people.
2?
Connecting with the self.
And 3?
Connecting with passions.
Got it. All right. Well, where can we buy your book?
Online, my website is fullheartliving.com. It's also available at amazon.com or barnesandnoble.com.
Okay. All right. We'll look for that, and then also I think we'll be able to put your website up, on the screen later.
That'd be great.
So I want to thank you so much. I'm so glad that we reconnect. I've talked about having you on a show.
Yeah.
After I learned, you wrote a book? So I'm so happy that I got to have you here.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Are you open to come back, and maybe we'll just share one of the chapters at a later date?
Oh, sure. Will you have me?
I would love to have
All
you.
right.
Well, let's say, yeah, we would.
Check with the crew afterwards.
Thank you so much. It was so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. And we're actually going to see each other in a couple of weeks, right? At a Music Man celebration.
Another get-together.
Woohoo! All right. Well, stay tuned for our second guest, which is Annie Meehan. Hi, Annie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I love being here.
Good. And you found it okay?
No problem.
Super. Well, this is CTV North Suburbs.org, and I just wanted to make sure that I got you on here because my connection with you is actually through NSA, which is National Speakers Association, and I'm in a class with Annie. That's an 8-month course, and it's National Speakers Association Academy.
Minnesota chapter.
Minnesota chapter,
Yeah.
good. And you are my facilitator.
Correct. Yeah, I love teaching what I love and sharing that passion. I love that students come in fired up and ready. How do you do this speaking as a profession?
Well, you are terrific.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love
your
mine.
energy is wonderful. I absolutely love it, love it. So you became a motivational and inspirational speaker.
Yeah.
And you've written 3 books.
Yes.
All right. So why don't you share the books with us first?
Yeah. Well, I started by writing an inspirational journal, Path, Detours, and Possibilities, because I wanted people to write their own story. So this is filled with questions and quotes to get people inspired to write their own story. And then for about 20 years, I worked on a memoir called Dumpster to Dynasty. But after speaking, I met a publisher, and she said, don't write a memoir, write an inspirational book, write a self-help, personal development. So it changed to be the exception. And really this book is about choices, and it's about living your life without excuses, but instead to show up to be your best and to be the exception. So this is my most popular book. And then I spoke about this book at a church in March, and they asked me to write a Bible study companion guide so that people can use it as a book club book or a Bible study. And so I have each, they can be used separately or as companions together.
I love it. Well, I've been into this book.
Okay.
And during our class, one of the key words that I constantly hear you talking about is impact.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be really good if you went through impact with us.
Wonderful.
Because it's starting to take a hold on me.
Oh, I love that. And I always love teaching people, we're all making an impact, but is it a positive one?
Right.
So I use acronyms to teach. So impact is an acronym. So the I stands for intentional. Be intentional with your words, be intentional with your actions, show up kinder than expected. What we say has an impact on other people. So I say if you decide in the morning to be patient and kind, it will show up throughout the day. And the M stands for make it happen. I believe that life is a lot about belief, but it's also about going to work hard to get what you want out of life, not blaming others or using excuses to stop you, but instead to go to work, make it happen. What are your dreams and what do you need to do to make it happen? Wow. The P stands for purpose. I think when the purpose is bigger than ourselves, when it's deeper than just a small, this will make a change, but there's a deep meaning behind that purpose. When you understand your why and live out of that, passion shows up and you start to live differently. You start to make a positive impact intentionally. And so the P stands for your purpose. What is your why? The A stands for adaptability. That people always say taxes and death are the only 2 guarantees in this life. And I like to challenge them. There's one more guarantee, and that's change. It's happening. For me, I've changed so much as a young person, as a child. There was so much change in my life that I never thought, do I like it or not? It just was. But being adaptable helps you make new friends, helps you change careers, because life is always changing. So how you deal with that is an important thing. The C stands for being committed. I think on Monday morning, most of us are pretty committed to our health. But by Thursday afternoon, a happy hour comes along and we've forgotten what we were committed to. And so be committed to whatever your goal is in life. And then T is your tools. What's in your toolbox? You know, what friends, what books, what are you listening to? What are you putting in your mind? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And those tools in your toolbox help you take the steps to get to where you're going in life.
Okay, so because I've been into the book a little bit, but let's go through them again. So we have the word impact and use it. You do a lot of acronyms. So the I stands for?
Be intentional. Intention.
Be intentional. Intention. And then the M?
M is make it happen.
So really simple, but make it happen.
Make it happen. So work smart, but also be willing to work hard.
Right.
Make it happen.
And then the P?
Purpose. What's your why? Purpose.
Yeah. That one's like deep.
Being a gym owner, many of my clients want to lose weight, and I'll say, why? You know, well, this magazine I read, well, that's not a good enough reason. But if you tell me, I'm afraid of getting diabetes, I want to get in a swimsuit with my grandkids, I don't have the energy I used to. Well, that's a bigger reason than what a magazine tells you. So when they dig into that why, that pushes them through when they don't feel like doing it. So your why matters a lot.
Oh, I love that. And the A?
A is for adaptability, being flexible. Adversity comes and change comes. So how adaptable are you?
Yeah. Recently, we had a lot of things happen within our family, and I can't believe how it affected me. And I'm a pretty happy person.
Yeah.
And so the change was hard, and then adapting, and then like, okay, now it's time to move. Exactly. Move forward. So for me, that was the big change. Start to move forward.
That's right.
And then we've got the C.
C is about commitment.
Okay.
And I think that it's that taking that baby step forward. I think people try to set too big of goals. I always say, keep it small, but stay consistent and committed to that goal. So commitment to whatever it is you want, are you willing to do step by step to get there, whether it's with our career, our health, or our relationships.
Right.
Takes commitment over time, consistency.
And maybe just taking one of them that you're talking about in that commitment.
Yeah.
So that would be, tell me again the C's that within that. So we could talk about.
We can talk about commitment, but then I'm saying you got to be consistent over time. So a baby step would be, I drink 5 glasses of water a day. I'm going to go to 6. Right?
Oh, okay.
Or I don't get invited out all the time. I'm going to make an effort to call a friend and get invited. I want that promotion at work, but I'm getting overlooked. I'm going to take a class to prepare myself for the next opportunity.
And the idea is don't do them all.
Don't do them all. Pick one.
Pick one.
And a small step toward it, and then be committed to that. And that commitment will turn into change.
Okay, so the water one is excellent because we're in a new year.
Yes, that's right.
You know, they talk about, how much water that we need. So, I mean, that would be an easy one.
Yeah, so 50% of your weight is what we recommend. But I have people that are like,
Really?
Annie, I'm so committed. 50% of your weight in ounces is what you're supposed to drink a day.
Really? Wow.
I've got a gallon jug I bring around with me all day, and if I don't finish it before I go to bed, I finish it. And you know what? What they find is not only do they have more energy, but their skin looks better, they feel better, and they're like, I'm not as hungry, I'm not overeating. So just little things can make a big change.
I did start drinking water in the morning, first thing, before I hit the coffee, because I heard that you're supposed to drink water and it cleans your kidneys.
Yeah.
And then I go for the coffee.
For the coffee.
In order to do it, I have to have like a water container in several different rooms. I have one in my office, I have one by my bedstand, I have one in the kitchen. It can't move from room to room because that just wouldn't work for me. But I figured it out.
I was going to say, and Lynn, that's what works for you. So it's figuring out a tool. So I was just teaching someone the other day, and she said, I don't really care for water. I said, I didn't used to be a big water drinker. Our daughter graduated from college and moved home. Start putting pitchers of water with raspberries and fresh mint in them and lemon in them and cucumbers.
Sure.
And all of a sudden water was like, oh, there it is, right in the cup, right in the fridge as I open it. So figuring out what works for you and then leaving it in your car, having it in different rooms, finding those patterns that will help you succeed with your goals.
Okay. And we still have T for tools.
Tools. What's in your toolbox? So I ask people that, and sometimes they're like, I don't know if I have anything. And I'm like, you do.
I have a screwdriver.
Now we have to pay attention to if it's a good tool or a bad tool, if we're using it or not. So I ask people, do you have books? What do you read? What's the last thing you put in your mind before you go to bed at night? Is it the news or is it something of inspiration? What are the things in your fridge? Do you have juice and pop that are the first things that pop out, or do you have water? What do you use to exercise? Do you have a walking partner, or do you do it alone begrudgingly, or do you look forward to it and say, oh, it's my girlfriend time, and we walk and talk? And so what's in your toolbox can be about the relationships you have, it can be about the learning, it can be around the food that's around you, whatever it is, but paying attention to what is around me, because I'm using it for good or bad. I'm using what's in front of me. Yeah.
Okay. And so in order to get started, buy the book. Where can you buy it?
Yep. So you can buy my book directly on my website at anniemeehan.com, but it also is in a number of Barnes & Nobles around the Twin Cities, and it on my website, on Amazon, and in Barnes & Noble. So really, if you go looking for, Google my name, it will direct you to a couple places that you can find Be the Exception.
Well, it's a transforming book. It definitely is an easy read. but an action read.
Yeah.
So I am just working on a couple of them.
Excellent.
Yeah, just a couple of them.
One is a great place to start. And I really wrote this with 7 chapters of ways of being. I think Americans in particular, we have a long to-do list, but I want people to be a certain way.
Okay.
So what does it mean to be healthy? What does it
Right.
mean to be open? And open is a lot about mentorship, about being a mentor and having mentors in our life. So at the end of every chapter, I have exercises for people to put that step into action so that they can start to transform my mindset. And some people say, I don't need transforming. And I'm like, you're right, you don't. But if we can just take a little step in the right direction
Right.
and keep improving, even if your life feels really good, why not make it just a little bit better? Learn to take
Make it
on this.
better.
Make it better.
I love it.
Yeah.
Annie.
You're welcome.
I love it.
No, you're welcome.
All right.
So fun.
Now, do you have time to stick around? We're going to learn about the star
I
fruit.
would love to learn about the
All
star
right.
fruit. Thank
So
you.
we're going to move over to the table.
Okay,
And we'll
great.
be back in a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Well, welcome to the kitchen.
Excellent, I love it.
Today we're going to learn about the star fruit. Now, this is a fruit. I'll give you your own.
Okay.
I've washed them.
All
So
right,
we're good to
thank
go. This is a fruit that's actually grown in Southeast Asia. And it's called the star fruit here, or carambola.
Carambola. All right.
With a C, carambola, I guess. It's a star-shaped fruit, and it has this sweet and sour flavor. And recently, I was in Florida, and my girlfriend, I stayed at her Airbnb one night, and her backyard was filled with all the citrus, lemons, limes, grapefruits, avocados she had, bananas, everything. And then she had these star fruit.
Okay.
And so they're on the ground, and it's like, what are those? There's just like so many. And you know, as I think as Minnesota people, like even if we see apples on the ground, we're like, pick them up, use them.
Yeah, don't
waste them. So anyway, she introduced me to them, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to introduce other people to it because it's such an easy fruit.
Okay.
So it has 5 ridges. Sometimes it's more. It's very fragrant.
Yes.
And the fruit is edible, all of it.
Oh, even the outside.
Everything. It's kind of has this waxy, and a ripe one will be yellow, maybe with some green in here. These happen to be pretty yellow, and then has this brown edging.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a mix of kind of taste-wise, apple, grape, and pears. And texture-wise, it's fabulous. So all you do is actually just cut off the one end,
Okay.
and you cut off the other end. Sometimes they're brown, you can cut that off, of course.
Okay. Very pretty.
I know, isn't it great?
It is.
And then you can you don't have to do this, but I thought we should know the option. And I forgot to ask you if you're a paring knife gal. But you can just take off this brown part.
Are we going to lose the tips of the star, though?
Oh, you wait and see, Annie. The cool thing is if you do leave it on, it's very edible, and it adds kind of that browned outline. So now it's ready actually to slice. And all you do, you can cut on this. This is my easy slice one if you need it.
Okay.
Because, of course, I took the good cutting board. And you can see it's so beautiful, and this is all edible. So we're going to cut them all up. You can put them in salads. You can eat them by themselves. I bought one last night for me to try at home and make sure I knew how, remembered what it tastes like and what the flavor was. And I ate the whole thing. And it's like 31 calories, so it's a great little snack.
Oh,
They have sometimes a seed in them, so you can just, take that out very easily.
Okay.
Kids love them because of the shape. So all you do is wash the fruit, remove those 2 ends like we did. Oh, you don't have any seeds, huh?
I think I trimmed too much of my sides, though, because mine are not perfect stars. I may have
Oh,
trimmed off just a little too much of the
see, that's what I get for practicing last night. And then just cut the fruit and you just slice it up. So those are the easy steps. And then as far as like goodness for you, it has vitamin C, it has B complex, which I think is harder to find.
Very good for you.
It's only, look how beautiful it is. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
And it also has potassium, which
Wonderful.
the only fruit I know about that has potassium is a banana.
That's right.
That's the only one I know, and I usually try to have like half a banana a day just because that's the only way I know to get it.
Yeah.
But it's super tasty.
And can you grill these at all? Would you stick them on your grill like a pineapple?
Wouldn't that be, that
sounds
is an
good.
excellent idea.
Yeah.
One left. It looks like you kind of can't even, look at I can't even screw it up.
They're very pretty and they're tasty, yeah.
You said you didn't know if you could eat them, so I'm going to eat.
You give it a try, yeah.
They have a crispy, we're going to have the whole staff try them.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're so great.
They look good.
So
And probably a forgotten fruit, one that we're missing out on.
And it's kind of more of a spendy fruit.
Okay.
So we tend maybe not to buy them, but buy one, prepare it, have it as like a special treat.
Nice.
Especially if there's anybody in your life that doesn't try this type of thing. The one that I did last night, I cut it up and I ran downstairs and I was going to have my husband try it because I'm the one that makes him try new things.
Yeah.
While he was sleeping.
Oh, no.
So he didn't get it. I ate it all.
When is it in season?
They're always in the supermarket, but they're fresher and sweeter. I feel like I have this one hair there. They're fresher and they're sweeter different times of the year.
Okay.
But, I found these locally,
Nice.
right at our regular grocery store.
Well, in the B complex in winter, people are getting sick. That's a great
Don't you
thing to
think?
invest in. So it's not
Yeah.
expensive to invest in your house.
Right,
So
right.
go
So
get a star fruit. Yeah.
Do a star fruit.
Do it.
Well, that's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed and actually learned something.
Yeah.
If you just think you might want to have a show or volunteer, then just go to ctvnorthsuburbs.org. And you know what? My grandson, who's 3 years old, he's into, of course, new adventures,
Yes.
right? And I'll say something like, do you want to go look at a bowling alley? He goes, let's do it. So that's what I'm saying to volunteers out there. Let's do it. Have a show, be a volunteer. You'll just have so much fun doing it.
Yes. Or come be a
thank
guest.
you. Or come be a guest. We're
Thank
always
you,
looking
Lynn,
for
for
a guest.
having me today.
You're
What
welcome.
fun. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you learned something.